What's the title?
Hello, guys. Welcome to
Hello.
episode 13 of the Empowered Hearts podcast. Today, we're going to be talking about something that everybody on this planet goes through, I don't know, a couple times a week, maybe it could be,
At least. Yeah.
at least once a week. I mean, if you're a woman, maybe more because we are in touch with our emotions more, I think.
Yeah.
But
Our hormones.
our hormones.
Hmm.
So today's topic is going to be centered around what do you do when you're having an off day?
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So we don't like to feel off.
No.
Anytime we feel a little bit off, it's like, what is happening? What
Hmm.
is happening? It's like, okay, how can I meditate this away? How can I work this off? How can I lean into my friends for support? Like, what can I do to get rid of this feeling?
Hmm.
Right? It's like we're constantly fighting it. But in reality, an off day means that we're going through change.
I'm having an off day today, so I will speak to this vulnerably and honestly. I guess that's what it feels like. I mean, it just feels like I'm not, yeah, like I'm not myself that I was yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And maybe it's like when the ego is like you said, going through change, and the ego is having trouble holding on to something. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because our soul will level up. I guess that would be a good way to describe it.
Mhm.
Like we are constantly evolving as a soul. And our human likes to attach to what it knows.
Yes.
So when our soul goes through an evolution and our human doesn't recognize it, it's like, oh my gosh, like what is happening? So then that fear mindset kicks in. And it's like we question ourselves, we question our life, we question our direction, we question our desires. It's like everything feels upside down all of a sudden,
Yeah.
flick of a switch.
I don't like it. I'll say that. I definitely
Yeah.
don't like it.
Yeah.
Um, I'm for our babes that are into astrology, I am all fixed Scorpio. And although my rising sign is Gemini, which, that's more of what encompasses our personality, or like
Mm-hmm.
I believe that, but I have so much fixed in me, and I'm like, we are either fixed here doing this, or we are here, and that's how it feels in my energy. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
we're this, or we are this, but the
Can't be the in between.
in between makes me so uncomfortable, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like it.
Well, you had mentioned that you said you feel like you have nothing to attach to,
Mhm.
right? It's like, so walk us through that.
I'm going through personal change in life,
Mm-hmm.
and what I thought I knew about myself, or who I was, or what I was quote unquote supposed to be doing. And I know this abstractly, to hear this doesn't sound like that big of a deal. And when I say this out loud, it actually takes the uh, pressure off of it, or the
Mm-hmm.
intensity. But it's like, but I'm supposed to be doing this. And I think that is, or this is what I was doing. And there's safety that lies in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's
Mm-hmm.
direction and safety. And it's like, okay, well, now we like, my ego is doing this. This is what human Morgan is doing. This is where our energy is going.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, we're gonna change. That's changing. And I find I struggle with the in between of like
Mm-hmm.
one direction to the other.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like, how would I best describe it? Like I'm
Like
direct,
in an airplane?
like I'm just, what do you mean?
Like so so this is where you fly from,
Right.
and this is where you're going. And so you're just like suspended in the air.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. That's how I visualized
Yeah, I'm like,
it.
what are you
You're
talking about?
like, what? We are not going on a vacation. I just did that.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. I
Does it
don't,
make you feel unsafe?
yes, it makes me feel
Yes.
unsafe and it makes me feel uncomfortable and I don't like it. Although this is everything I've prayed for.
Isn't that crazy?
Mhm.
And this is exactly okay. So I talked about this in my story this morning. I said, it's like we're in the energy of waiting, like we're waiting for something, right? But it's like you're asking for change. And then when change takes place, how do you feel about change?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like, so you are in change right now. You are in the transition of change. And change is scary,
Mm-hmm.
especially when we're in the in between, because we can't see what is like anything further than what we know right now.
Yeah.
Like,
I,
right?
I think it would be different if it was, you know, a known change, like the knowing. Uh, but it's like it's learning to trust in between is perhaps like that's still where I'm much better than I was, but
Yep.
today I'm having an off day and it
Yes.
seems to have exasperated. And I know the listeners can, I know you guys understand what I mean. Like when you're having an off day
Mm-hmm.
and then you'll like over conceptualize and obsess like where is this coming from, what does this mean, what's
Mm-hmm.
wrong? Why is this happening, because our ego's like why like let's fix this.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we don't know what's wrong,
Yeah.
maybe there isn't something actually wrong,
Yep.
that feels even scarier.
And what, so when you lean into, because that's one of the first things we can speak on to our listeners, is when you're having an off day, sometimes we do often ask ourselves, like, did something trigger this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what is happening? And when you kind of lean a little bit deeper into it and you don't find the answer, it's like, well, what is the next step?
Right.
Right? Like, what can I accept how I'm feeling? Can
Mm-hmm.
I accept that I'm maybe a little bit scared and like, ooh, like maybe I don't really know and I'm having a little bit of anxiety and like it's making me feel emotional. Like can I accept how I'm feeling right now in this moment? And sometimes that even is just like it softens it slightly.
Yeah, I find ways that are helpful. What I've done today and what I've
Mm-hmm.
done in the past is I found like things that you personally enjoy doing
Mm-hmm.
are helpful because it
Yes.
it anchors in, okay, I may not understand what's wrong or that maybe you're in a change or why I feel off, but how can I feel right? What will make me feel better? And
Yes.
and I don't mean like let's go get like wasted and
Yeah.
numb the whole process because I do think there's a lot of juicy knowledge and wisdom to find in these like periods of our life during when we don't feel right.
Mm-hmm.
But like what can you do that you like? You know,
Yeah.
bring you back down to into your body.
How can I feel better in this moment? That's one of my favorite practices out of one of my programs, actually. It's just how can I feel better? Like, can I maybe put on different clothes that feel comfy on my body? Can I, instead of trying to force myself to do things that it's making my day even worse,
Yeah.
like what kinds of things can I leave till tomorrow? And, you know, what did you do for yourself today that made you feel a little better?
I went for a long hike. I meditated outside in the sunshine. I went to the gym, even though I'm not supposed to be going to the gym because of my back. I went and I'm like, okay, we're gonna just take it really easy.
Mm.
And I stretched and I'm praying I didn't irritate my back. And I'm gonna cook. So
Yes.
those things make me happy always.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if there's a way that you can find yourself or you can find happiness or
Mm-hmm.
something to even cling to if you're
Yeah.
having an off day and you're like, I don't know what's going on and you're feeling unsafe and you're not feeling grounded,
Mhm.
Clinging to something healthy is, you know, I know we're supposed to be practicing detachment, especially if you're on a spiritual journey, but it's okay to also let your ego have its thing. And it's okay to do
Well, yeah. I was
it.
going to say they're healthy practices. There's nothing wrong with those. You can attach to those all you want because they serve you.
Mhm.
It's just any time we're trying to attach to something that doesn't, right? That's like holding us back from evolving or growing. So, did you feel better in the doing of those practices?
Yeah, and I wouldn't say like the overall mood is better, but I'm enjoying the small things that I'm doing for myself,
Mm-hmm.
you
It's
know?
nourishing.
Yes, it is very nourishing. And
Yes.
acceptance, like you mentioned earlier, like what are some things like can we just accept? Because I find if you're gonna fight it all day long, you're gonna wake up and you're like I was really off today. Like I forgot to brush my teeth. I went out walking. I'm like, did I not brush my teeth? I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah,
Like it
I've
just,
done that.
just like off.
I,
And like, where was my mind this morning? How did I,
that's what I was going to say. I think
know?
it's like, am I focused? Or is my mind just like taken off on its own little tangent and I'm doing things, but am I really doing these things?
Yeah. And it didn't like often I can catch myself overthinking.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like that today. It just kind of feels like there's an ick under the surface somewhere.
Yep.
And so I thought about it. I'm like, what is it? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, well, what I'm gonna go for a walk.
Yep.
And when I went for a walk, I'm like, my teeth are not brushed. Okay. You know,
The clarity came
like,
through.
okay. And then I'm meditating and I find this is really helpful. And I'd love if you could share everything that's helpful for you when this happens. But I reconnected with my heart during a meditation and
Mm,
just like get myself back in my body. And I did 30 minutes of
mhm,
meditating on the top of a hill. It was beautiful. And it just in the sun and just like,
mm, mhm,
what is real right now? What can I, quote unquote, control right now? Because
mhm,
I find often when we have a lack of control, we can feel off or we can feel
mhm.
unsafe. So,
Yeah.
what can I control right now? My breathing,
Mhm.
gratitude, and that's it. And that made me feel better.
Yeah. And sometimes that's all it is. Like it's like literally the most basic things. If I'm having an off day, which happens every month for all of us women, and it's so funny because I'll be like, I don't know what's going on, and then a few days later I get my bleed, and I'm like, oh yeah, that makes. You
It,
think I would learn by now, but I
I think,
don't.
no, this surprises all of us every month. We're like,
Yeah.
what is wrong? Oh, my period. Yeah.
Where's the moon? Yeah.
Yeah.
Something's wrong. My favorite things are very similar to yours. I find music really helpful for me.
Mhm.
Music lifts my mood, especially my favorite songs. They take my mind off whatever I'm feeling, even or like what I'm moving through, and it just like bring makes me feel lighter. So
Mhm.
that to me is a really good one. Nature is also a really good one for me too. Like I find if I ever go into nature feeling low, I always come out feeling better.
Yeah.
Just taking that time and space. Sometimes like a nice hot bath. I lean into like comfort. It's like my human wants comfort. So I try my best to, just console that and lean into that and like not get in my head too much.
Yeah, because that's where we go is our head, right?
Always.
Like,
Yep.
and it goes back to the why, what is happening, what's wrong, who upset me, or what do I need to fix? And
Yep.
sometimes you could probably just need a nap. I
Hmm.
mean, I think my cat this morning, the dog was panting, the bed was like shaking. I'm like, what? It's like not, the light was not even through the curtains. I'm like, it's not even 6, it's like 5:30 probably. And the cat's like jumping around the bed. I'm like, it didn't start off well, but it didn't start off well. I'm like, So, sometimes we just
Yeah.
need a nap or
Yeah, it's
nourishing
true.
food and I know these
One small thing can
are
throw our entire
luxuries.
day off.
Yeah, and I know these are luxuries, right? Like, but it's if you can find something, like you said, music, the music or walking or a nap if that's possible, or like your favorite food.
Yep, naps are golden. I love naps. Like I love naps. I had a nap yesterday. It was wonderful. I was exhausted though, so I needed it.
I feel like right now the energy
Yeah.
is intense. And
Yeah.
I am not I am a channel, but I don't really advertise this. I can just tell you the feeling of what the energy is collectively. And it just feels it's like a intense but dense.
Yeah.
But
Hmm.
you are like an open channel. I would love
Yeah.
if you could share your energy update on here
Yeah. I
to
would
just
love to.
help people. Have you channeled next week's? Because I guess this will be dropping on Tuesday.
Haven't. I haven't because I do it on Sunday normally, but I did channel this week's energy, which I have already dropped. But there's a lot of water in the energy this week, which would make sense for me for the dense, heavy
Mhm.
emotion. There's a lot of emotion this week, and emotion is challenging to navigate if it's like you're not comfortable in it, you
Yes.
know? And so that could be a little bit of what we're feeling.
Mhm.
But with the emotion, we're receiving heart chakra activations.
Mm.
And so, in order to receive the heart chakra activations, we need to be open. So, when we combine the water element and emotion, a lot of us contract around that, right? So, it's challenging for us to receive these heart activation codes, which make us feel gratitude and love and joy if we're contracted. And so, they recommend listening to 528 hertz music, which
Okay.
helps open the heart chakra.
Okay.
And within that you will feel release, like you will feel lighter.
Mm. So
So that was the energy update.
there definitely is a perception of density in the energy field like
Well,
that.
if you think about it, okay, like when you're swimming,
Mhm.
what does it feel like to move in the water, in deep water?
Yeah, there's effort.
Slow and dense and
Yep.
heavy.
Yep.
And that's exactly what happens with us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's hard to navigate emotion. We've already done an episode on
we
this.
have.
Well, I'd love to get into it again. It's just
Yeah.
it's not easy to navigate emotion, especially when I think it's like I am very comfortable feeling emotions, but I think the key is when you're having an off day and you're not sure what the emotions are, to
Yes.
that makes it even
Hmm.
more complicated. It's like, okay, navigating emotions is already a full table of,
Hmm.
you got a full set of, I can't even speak, things on your table. And then
Your plate is full.
your plate is full. There we go. Thank you. Can't speak or brush my teeth, but and
It's an off day.
it's an
We're not
off.
having one.
So your plate's full, but then you're like, now I can't see anything. And is my plate full? Where is my seat? And it's just, so if you don't know
Yeah.
what's wrong, but you know that there is an emotion that needs to be cleared or felt, that's a lot
Yeah.
to have to manage. So, like you said, can you accept it?
I always feel better and even like a little bit less in my head if someone else is feeling the same as me.
Mhm.
Right. And so I feel like that's why support sometimes is really important too. Like if there's people that you can talk to about it,
Oh,
because,
absolutely.
right, it's like they, they've been in your shoes before or something similar, right? So someone is going to resonate with how you're feeling. And it's like sometimes when we just like talk it out and someone says, like, I know how you're feeling,
Mm-hmm.
it's just like, oh, okay. Like it softens it a little bit. And it's like, okay, well, I'm not that crazy. Like I can have these days. It's okay. And
Yeah,
we will get through them.
definitely having support is like, this is why I appreciate, and why I am a mentor and why I appreciate mentorship so much is, and I over, let's say, therapy. Now, this is just my personal, we're going off on a tangent here, but I'm just going to share it.
Yeah.
I find having like a mentor, somebody in your back pocket, you can be like, hey, this is what's going on, like in the now moment.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I found like doing a therapy session would be less supportive in a way. I found space wasn't held the same.
Mhm.
Or if like you have like scheduled support, which I mean is better than nothing. I'm going off on like on a
No,
tangent.
it's okay because there's a big difference between therapy session and having a mentor.
Yeah.
Like with a therapy session, you're kind of saving it all up.
Yeah. And I find like you're working through something
Yes.
rather than
Everything.
everything. Yeah, that's
And just life in general.
a really good way of putting it.
And that's why it's so beautiful to have a mentor because no matter what you are bringing to the table, it's happening in real time in the current moment.
Well, I mean, especially if the mentor or life coach has gone through what you've gone through. Like, it's always good
Yeah.
to find somebody just a little bit ahead of you that you're like, okay, I'm safe. And
Yeah.
that safety piece is really important.
Hmm.
And we're having an off day, right? Or
Hmm.
off month or off
Yeah.
moment in our life, however long that moment is lasting.
It's true because you know what? Off days can turn into 2 to 3 to 4.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like a whole period of like a death cycle that we're moving through, the in between, and it can be grueling sometimes. You're just like, I just want to wake up and see the light.
So for me, that's personally attached to my direction in life,
Yeah.
right? Um, I wonder, like, what is that for you?
The light.
Yeah.
I feel like for the longest time, I have been in such a place of peace
Hmm.
that the unknown doesn't really scare me.
Hmm.
It's like, I'm never going to know. Like, really, I'm never going to know. I'm never going to know what is coming at the end of today or tomorrow or the next day. Like, I can have an idea of what I want.
Hmm.
And the idea of having a goal or a dream is what feeds the light for me. Like if I think about it and I really lean into it, of like, why do I want to build a business to help people?
Hmm.
Right? Like, why? Why am I continuously working towards this, even though sometimes it feels like it is not working?
Hmm.
Because I just want to help. I was on the other side of that and needed support, and I know what it feels like to be held and to be safe and to be seen and understood. And so no matter what it is, whether it's like waiting for a soulmate relationship, when I think about it, I want it so much that I can feel it, and that's what keeps me moving forward. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
I think it's the trust piece, right?
Yep.
Really, and coming back to the heart is just, even if you
Yeah.
feel directionless or even if you
Mhm.
feel
Yeah.
lost, what do you have? And that's
Mhm.
really where, gratitude and connecting with your heart is so helpful. And
Mhm.
I did journaling today. That was really helpful as well, which I
Mhm.
hate journaling, but it was helpful today.
Yeah. You did it.
My
That's all that
resistance
matters.
around journaling. I really don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting, but you've been doing it more often.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know what my resistance is. I'm a very I enjoy learning.
Hmm.
I really enjoy learning and I really enjoy being physical. So like I
Yep.
think and those are the things that really, really light me up and of course helping people like that. But I really love learning and then being able to like move
Hmm.
my body. Uh,
Yep.
and yeah, so like the act of like journaling is I know that is moving my body technically, but it's just I don't know.
It's a very feminine practice.
Yeah, like I want to go sweat at the gym
Yeah.
and I feel so alive in that. And that to me is where I find answers. Like answers will just come to me
Yep.
because I'm in a flow state. So that's
It
my
makes sense.
yeah, that's my preferred flow state.
It makes sense. And like when you move your body, you're actually moving the energy around. So sometimes when you have like let's say that it's an off day, you don't know what's going on. Just something feels off. Just doesn't feel good. You get your body moving and just getting that energy moving around in your body and you'll feel it because when
Yep.
you stop and close your eyes, like you will feel the energy coursing in your body. Sometimes that's really all it takes.
Yep. Don't ever underestimate the power of exercise. Like it
Yeah.
you can burn stuff off that is not meant to be sitting there or
Yeah.
and just moving the blood in your body, getting like fresh oxygen
Yeah.
is such a powerful tool, I find. If you're just like in your head, I don't know what to do, you know what, I can at least do this. And it has been challenging lately because of my back being so sore.
Yes.
But for people listening, like if movement is something you can participate in, move your body. Um,
Hmm.
or, another, if you can't move your body, screaming is also a good one to like let energy move.
Hmm. Yep. And if you're in like a place where, you're a little insecure about screaming, you can do it in your car outside. Nobody's
Yeah.
going to hear you. Or you can scream into a pillow.
Mhm.
Screaming is a really good one for like irritation or frustration or like anger,
Yep.
like that like hot moving energy.
It is a very good one for that. There was a time in my life where
Yeah.
I had never expressed anger. I was like, oh, I just don't get angry.
Hmm.
It was just suppressed, right? Like I had just, suppressed it with other things. And when I started to feel anger for the first time, I was like, what do I do with this? I am gonna like claw someone's face off, not literally, but that's what it felt like.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
yeah, somebody suggested to scream in a pillow. And does that ever feel good? Like just get it off of you. Get it off.
Yep. One of the things that I would suggest if you wake up feeling off, I would start with, like, well, how am I going to take care of my needs today? And
Hmm.
what are those needs? Like, have I washed my face and brushed my teeth? Have I fed myself breakfast?
Mhm.
Did I have a glass of water? Maybe you're off because you're dehydrated. Maybe you're off because you haven't eaten today.
Mhm.
Like there's so many reasons. So it's like, let's go back to the basics.
Mhm.
Maybe I'm off because I haven't been in nature for 4 days and I'm feeling, like cooped up or like there's just so many options that we have available to us
Yep.
that we could explore. Maybe it's like a deepening of, emotions and journaling or meditation. Yeah.
Or, I mean, now that you mention eating breakfast, like food plays such a big part in our overall well-being, right?
Mm-hmm.
And having the best we can to eat, which I know is a struggle in this day and age, in this current economy that we're in, it can be challenging to have like, God forbid we have organic food, which I
Mm-hmm.
wish I could eat all the time, but just to have like, not eat something that's just fast food or just something nourishing to help your body, right?
Yeah.
That it is a privilege and um it can really help like fresh water,
Yeah. Yes.
nourishing food is goes a long way.
And fresh air.
And fresh air
The three freshes.
and sunlight. I will sunlight
Oh,
is a big one.
sunlight. It is not sunny here today.
It's beautiful. It was very cold. It was 4 degrees this morning.
Yeah, we're supposed to get really cold weather too. But you know what? When it's not sunny, to me, it already feels off.
Yep.
I'm a sunshine girl.
Yep. I need
Yep.
sunshine. Well, I go through seasonal affective disorder. I have
Yep.
that in fall. Bad.
Yep.
And it's not even the lack of sun, it's the anticipation for the lack of sun that I just get
Mhm.
thrown right off. The second I see a leaf change, I'm like, here we go. Here we go. And I'm like, okay, we're going on the roller coaster ride. And it's bad during fall and it'll be bad at the beginning of winter and then it lifts, but that's when we get sun.
Yep. The leaves change, and I'm like, I love fall. I don't know. I'm like, I like change. Like I do like change. So I like the seasons because with every season, something new and exciting is happening. It's just when we get stuck in the season for too long, like when winter's too long,
Yeah. Oh, for
I don't
sure.
like that.
No, but a beautiful, there is such thing as a beautiful winter day. Like when we went to BC and
Yeah.
we live in BC, when we went to Fernie rather, um, and there was snow there, but there wasn't snow where I was. I really appreciated it,
Yeah.
right? Because it was, I guess we weren't quote unquote stuck in it, like you said, but
Yeah. It's like options. Like we don't like to feel stuck.
no. And that could also be like another reason people have an off day is, do you feel stuck in something?
Yeah.
Well, like I was coming with the opposite approach of, well, I don't feel stuck in anything. And I feel like I'm levitating and waiting in the waiting phase. And but if something's the same every day and it could be a pain point for you, like
Hmm.
that can create a feeling of offness as well.
There's like a certain structure that I do like of like repetition. Like all the things that make me feel happy, I can do them every day.
Mhm.
But when my life starts to look like a lather, rinse, repeat, I am like, I cannot. I need a change of season.
Yep.
I need to switch it up. I need to do something different. And sometimes it's just that, sometimes yeah, like you're just not taking space for you to do the things that you enjoy.
Mhm.
You're doing more of what you don't want to do and less of what you want to do. And you're miserable because of it. So that's another thing too.
Yep.
Doing more things that you love.
It's really that simple. It really
Yeah.
all goes back to the heart and what makes you happy and what connects you to happiness
Hmm.
and joy.
Yep.
And it's simple, but it's when you're in it, sometimes it doesn't feel simple. Sometimes
Hmm.
it feels I don't know, like the end of the world,
Well,
right?
and like doing anything feels hard
Yep.
in that space. It's like I can't reach for gratitude right now when I'm feeling like this.
And I think it's okay to honor that, you know?
Yeah.
It is. Like sometimes we need to have a tantrum as well.
So true.
Right? Like we need
Yeah.
to pout and stomp our feet, and that's just how it's going to be in the moment. And this is your permission slip. If you're listening to this,
Hmm.
that you need to have a tantrum, have a tantrum. You can do
Hmm.
it in private.
Yep.
Like we can't hang out there too long.
Yep.
You know, if you need to
Let it out.
let it out. If it needs to be pouting, if it needs to be crying or screaming, get the anger out, or having that tough conversation, like maybe there's something with your partner that is off or whatever. If you need to have, like, I would say feel into it. Let your body decide what it needs, right?
Yep. That's really good.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then go back to like, how can I feel better? I
What are,
think it's,
hmm?
I was just gonna say, I think it's unrealistic to expect you to go from feeling super, super low to overly happy.
Yeah, it might,
It
that probably won't happen.
can feel like a really large reach, but it's like, how can I just feel a little better?
Mhm.
I like that.
So we have something exciting to share.
We do.
We are going to start interviewing some amazing people
Mhm.
that we believe have an empowered heart. And, what does that mean to us and or to them? And I think really when Krystle and I were starting this podcast, it was our journeys that got us to where we are right now, which was going through hell on earth,
Mhm.
go and then finding our hearts and ourselves,
Mhm.
and following our heart's path, and not being in pain and being in misery every day of our lives. Like we refused to accept that as how life was going to go.
Yep.
And it's empowering. It's heartfelt. It's beautiful. It's, hey, no, my dog's agreeing. Madam,
She had to get her words in too.
she's like, it is empowering. Gracie, oh my gosh, you're fine. Anyways, sorry about that. So we're going to start interviewing people, and it's going to be potent. It's going to be good. I think we really want to showcase how other people have done it, right? Like you
Mhm.
just talk about ourselves for a long time and our perspectives, but I think the whole premise of this podcast is really to show you how to be empowered, that you
Yep.
don't have to be your story that you were given, and
Mhm.
that you can break free.
Yep.
You know,
Yes.
you
Yep.
can break free from wherever you're in, whether that's an unaligned marriage, being in addiction, being in an unhappy relationship, being an unhappy job.
Yep.
Where you are feeling unhappy is not where you have to live.
Yep.
Free.
Absolutely.
And that's really what we want to illuminate even more. So it is not just Krystle and I blowing smoke up your ass. Like, let us show you more examples that you can empower yourself. You can change, and
Mhm.
you can be the best version of yourself, and it is possible.
It's
So
absolutely possible. I'm so excited for this series.
it's going to be really good. It's
Yeah.
going to be juicy. Um, we'll just,
Yeah.
we'll just have to wait. Well, it's going to be really juicy though.
It's going to be so good.
There's going to
I'm
be,
excited.
yeah. And yeah, and I think that's it. Um, I will say today what it feels like to have an empowered heart is,
Yes.
boy, I accepting where I am.
Mm.
Acceptance to not know. And that's a tough one. Like that's like I've been on trust for the past couple weeks, and this is like trust, but it's different. It's different. It's like accepting that I just don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's a hard thing to do.
It's an action. I
Yeah.
find acceptance is it's not like a feminine energy where you're like, oh, I'm just gonna accept. No, you have to, I find actively choose to accept. It's a
Yep.
choice.
Yep.
And yeah, so actively accepting.
I love that.
And what about you? What does it feel like to have an empowered heart today?
An empowered heart to me feels like trust. Trusting in my visions, trusting in my compass, my feeling, my intuition, what is pulling me forward.
Hmm.
Because sometimes, it feels like the seeds aren't growing underneath the dirt, and you're like, I've been praying for this for so long.
Yep.
Like, you got to give me something. There's got to be like a little sprout is going to come up. Something's got to give. But yeah, it's trust for me. Yeah.
And to whomever is listening, I want you to ask yourself that question today. What does
Mm.
it feel like to have an empowered heart? And if you don't really know what we're asking, the question is really, what does it feel like today to choose the feeling or emotion that is for your highest good.
Mm-hmm.
I hope
Yep.
that makes sense.
It does. Makes perfect sense.
Well, I think this wraps today. And if you're having an off day, you are not alone.
You're not alone.
Get it. And try screaming if you feel anger, because it
Mm-hmm.
is helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Or the sunshine, or moving your body, or having a nap, or some nourishing food, because these things really do help.
Amen.
And especially talking to somebody that you trust.
Yes, absolutely.
I love you so much, Krystle.
I love you so much. Have a beautiful day.
I will see you next week.